You can still hear me, huh?
We can still hear you. Aloha kakahiak, everybody. Good morning. This is Peter K, and you are with us this wonderful, beautiful Aloha Friday on December 5th, 2025. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. E komo mai is the Hawaiian word over here. We have a great show for you today. We got some market updates. We talk about real estate, but really it's about Hawaii, and we got some great Hawaii questions. I got some interesting Hawaii news that you definitely want to know about, quite a bit of stuff, actually. And then we're going to be taking your comments live. And we have some comments and questions live. We also have some questions that we have sent in previously. We're going to cover some diamonds in deals, some great properties that our friends would like you to take a look at, and then we're going to close with some great motivational thoughts. But before we do that, we have to warm up. We have to warm up the internets, folks. We have to warm up the internets, and the way we warm up the internets here is we share with our friends who are with us today. And clockwise, I've got Dylan Nonaka, who is from the Big Island with the cool Aloha shirt. And we have Ronnie Margolis from Kauai, which is really cool, heading us up from my second favorite island in the chain. And we've got, of course, Ashley Wasson, who's from the east side of Oahu, who's hanging out by the beach, probably really close to it at least. So welcome, everybody. Good to see you all. Dylan, why don't we start with you? How are you doing on the Big Island? What's the shirt? I want to know about the shirts, the shirt setup, and how is the Big Island going on right now?
Yeah, so I got my this is our team logo shirt, right? It's got the Lauhala print on it with the Lauhala leaves, and it was normally a black and gold shirt, but they started to come out with other colors, and so we got this, I don't know, this fuchsia, or I don't know what you call this color, but it's pretty purple. It's pretty bright and pretty loud, but it's cool because this logo became, or this print became pretty popular. And so for like the first 6 months when the clothing line came out with it was kind of private, and only members of our team would had access to buying it. And then they asked us if they could make it public, and they did. And now it's like we see it all over town. So lots of people that are advertising for us, cool. They don't even know it. So
that's cool. So you're seeing it all. So I mean, how is it going all over town? Could they like buy it in the store, or they're just buying it through friends and being distributed in the back alley by agents, like under the table?
No, livinghula.com is the website. Okay. So you can order all their stuff that they have there, and then they also have a physical location here in Kona, and they also do lots of pop-ups. So anytime there's like hula competitions or cultural festivals and stuff, that they're one of the many local clothing designers that have pop-up shops. So yeah, they sell a lot of Aloha wear. So you see
and part of that, so they're selling your guys' stuff as part of their line. Is that right?
Yes. It's one of the many prints. I mean, they got lots. I think a couple weeks ago I wore the Kona coffee print. There was like, they have which is cool because it's like Kona, local and Kona, and they have all kinds of different Hawaiian plants on their print. So it's very distinct because it's only two colors. It's like the color of the shirt and then the color of the print, and so it's always like this kind of like just two-toned. But yeah, this is my favorite one.
Nice, man. Nice. I was going to say, if you guys haven't done this already, there should be a color of the print for every island that you guys service, right?
This is a good idea. Right? This is a good idea.
Have the Kauai color, the Oahu color, right? Red, was it like red for Big Island, yellow for Oahu, and what's Kauai's color? A green, I think it is. I'm not too sure. I could be wrong. I wouldn't know. Ronnie would know, right? Ronnie, let's go to Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you doing?
I thought it was purple. But it is the garden.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It could very well be purple. You would know. You're the Kauaian.
I will look,
Ronnie.
I'm gonna ask Claude, and I'll get back to you.
It is
all right. So it is purple. Okay, there you go. So we've already got the Kauai. Everybody cheats now. Nobody knows anything anymore because we don't need to, right? We don't need to know anything because we just ask ChatGPT or my favorite Grok. We just grok it. And that's it. So no one needs to know anything. But speaking of the one who
Peter,
where the colors and all the things. So we have like these nice annual reminders.
There you go.
The purple color comes from the Moki Hana berry. Did you know that? Which is also
your ringtone, apparently. Okay, sounds good. Loving it.
Yeah, the Moki Hana is an anise-scented berry that grows on this beautiful garden island. So check
Well,
it
there you
out.
go. How's speaking of the Moki Hana berry? How's Ronnie on Kauai, man? How are you doing today? What's the weather like, etc.?
It's breezy. I love sitting by the sliders in my house. Every morning I just feel that light trade wind almost every morning, just paint my skin. And I'm not wearing an agency shirt, but I'm wearing the District 5000 Rotary shirt. And
There you go.
the club in Lihue, known as the Kauai Club or the Mother Club, is hosting an event tonight that's very popular on Kauai. It's the Lights on Rice Parade. So everyone gathers on Rice Street, everything from the high school marching band to all kinds of music groups riding on floats, and some of the big businesses and restaurants and civic groups. It's and then it ends with a whole bunch of food trucks and vendors, and it's a good time. It's a big parade for Kauai.
So that's what that link that you sent me on the private
Yeah,
chat
I
is,
thought
right?
if you wanted to share it, you could see it.
Yeah. The way this thing works, it doesn't allow you to kind of share a link per se, but I'll see what it can do.
No, you click
breaks
on
it
the
up.
link and then you share that tab.
I see what you mean. All right. Well, I just popped it in the comments so folks can all see it, and it's going to
Good idea.
There it goes 4 or 5 times, and people could click on it because we live in the internet world now, and people can
I've
click
heard of
on
that.
stuff.
I think that's
It's really
gonna
cool.
catch on.
It's a really cool thing. It's remarkable. All right. Speaking of remarkable, Ashley, how are you remarkably doing this morning? How are you? What's happening?
I'm good. Weather's easy. I put on this like little sweater because I was biking my daughter to school this morning. Okay, I was sitting on the electric bike while she was biking, and it was a little nippy, and now I'm hot and I'm overheating, but I'm here for the hour with you guys, so I will power through it. I should know better. It's Hawaii. It always gets beautiful by 10 a.m. Nice and comfortable.
Hey, if you want to, I could pull you off the camera. You want to run and kind of change, pull the sweater off or something. Feel free to kind of, we want you to be comfortable and not hot and sweaty during the show. Everybody should be comfortable. That's the goal. Comfort.
Give you the heads up if I need to go do that.
Yeah. So if you want to, just go ahead and take yourself off camera. But all right, excellent. So really cool, everybody. So I got a couple of I pulled together a bunch of stories. So I think our warm up is done. And by the way, if you're with us, if you join us, pop a an aloha message. Give us a wave, a shout. Let us know where you're from. It's always kind of fun to see who's with us on the show. All right, I got a bunch of news, so I'll take that and. Actually, you're going to run around and go and get some, go and take care of that. I will run this way. Okay, cool. Got a bunch of news going on. Some stuff that's actually motivated me to bring up a topic for today, which is Hawaiian waters. Hawaiian waters are like really dangerous, man. Hawaiian waters can kill you. I've got a couple of stories here which are of interest. One from Kauai. So for you, Ronnie. So there was a Kauai lifeguard was discharged after a shark attack. Now, this is a lifeguard. This is not some mainland haole that came to Kauai and doesn't know what they're doing and they're wandering into dangerous waters. This is a lifeguard. And Chance Swanson is his name, age 33, surfing at a spot he frequents just outside of Honolulu Bay. So here we have a lifeguard to a surf spot that he does often and knows it, and got bit by a shark. So Hawaiian waters, they're beautiful. Do not be deceived by the beauty of Hawaiian waters. And there's another very, very sad story about another water story about a loving Navy father died, which is very, very sad, trying to save his son in Kauai waters again. So it must be, it's the Kauai caught a bunch of them. Apparently a Navy family stationed on West Kauai, Jeffrey Diaz died one day before his 48th birthday, trying to save his son. And apparently his son was saved. His son got caught up apparently in some big surf. Dad went in, saved his son. Dad drowns. Very, very sad. The point of the story here is you got to watch out for the water, man. The water on not just Kauai, the water in Hawaii will kill you, and you got to be super, super, super careful. We're going to actually talk about that. All right, man. Santa Claus is coming to town. He is here. So one of my, of course, everybody's favorite here, and I grabbed the photo. I do not think there is a cooler Santa Claus than the one at Honolulu, Hale, on Oahu, the Shaka. When someone who's not familiar with the local version of Santa Claus, this is so cool, right? He's got shorts, He's got shorts on. He's got the Shaka. Mrs. Claus is there, and they got their toes in the water. Only in Hawaii do we have a Santa Claus like that, and I think that's really, really fun. Great memories of taking my kids there year after year after year. It's been great fun. All right. A couple more stories over here. So Lahaina is rebuilding. We're going to skip this one because we don't have any Maui folks over here, but Lahaina is trying to rebuild. They reached their 100th rebuild structure in wildfire zones, and apparently they have limited commercial boat operations to return for the first time to Lahaina Harbor since the wildfire in 2023. I can't believe it's been 2 years ago for that. So thankfully, Lahaina is showing signs of rebuilding, which is great. Let me give a quick shout out to Properties by Rachel. Hey, aloha kakahiaka from Ka'u on the Big Island. All right, welcome, Rachel. Great. I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for being with us. Great to have some folks joining us. And of course, Bob is with us. Bob Carl from Hawaii Kai Peninsula. Welcome back, Bob. Good to see you, buddy. All right. Thanks, folks, for making it. If you've joined us, give a shout out. We'd like to know who's with us. Can your house be stolen? You may have heard about these, but I want to hear from our friends about this later. Deed forgery scheme impacts properties across Oahu. Apparently, Oahu's Attorney General has charged 2 men with stealing 3 properties. So this is some sort of a deed theft. I hear ads on TV to protect yourself against this, etc. I'd like to know more about this from our friends. And then finally, Hawaii is more than a crossroads than we might think, folks, because apparently the U.S. and China had maritime security talks in Hawaii. The Chinese Navy has released. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Hopefully it's for world peace. Hawaii is a great place, I would think, for them to show up. All right. I think that's enough for our news today. I was curious of what you guys, well, we have a question about the water safe. We're going to talk about that later, but on that house being stolen, can we talk about that a little bit? What is it with this deed theft issue? There's something about that, there's some sort of security thing where someone can impersonate you and file a deed and get the title to your property and mortgage your property, and you don't even know what's going on. This is the stuff I've heard about. What is this? Let's go counter. Well, okay, Ashley, you like to be last, right? So I'm gonna let you be last. You add your stuff in. So Ronnie, why don't you start with this? Let's go Ronnie, then Dylan, and then Ashley. What is it with this property deed stuff? Is this real? Is it happening in Hawaii? How do you protect yourself against it? Is it a thing?
I'm not sure I totally understand what you're saying, but if you're talking about people impersonating owners and calling us to list their property, there have been many examples of that. Those people that are trying to steal the property or basically get the money, they have driver's licenses, that match the owner's name. They have usually an email that's like 1 character off from their name. And they often seem to be in quite a hurry, when you're an agent looking for business. And it's like, can you list my property? Can you send me the documents? What's taking you so long? Please send them to me. And we actually heard of a situation here, because in Hawaii, probably more than most states in the U.S., we have lots of absentee sellers and buyers. And so a mobile notary comes to your home. They want to see your driver's license you sign. And then the sale closes and, they get the money. And in one case, the sale did close. And of course, the title company was on the hook for the title insurance. I had it happen to me one time here. And what I learned was when someone says they own it, I say, can you send me your last tax bill, or can you send me a copy of the deed of the property, please? And that usually sends them away pretty quickly. But I don't know how it works in the other counties. Here on Kauai, if you own a piece of land and you haven't built on it, when you look in our tax system, it just shows the name of the street. There isn't a street number assigned until somebody builds on it. So when someone calls you up and say, I own this lot at 5110 Mililani Place, you go and see it's a piece of land without an address. That's also another clue. So if that's what you're talking about, I often question myself, what's the scam? You know, what are they in it for other than hitting that particular home run?
I think it's something about that they put themselves on the title with the Bureau of Conveyances. Dylan, have you heard of this at all?
I have firsthand experience with this.
So let's hear it.
Okay,
here we go. Excellent.
Yeah,
Flip this, everybody.
So this is a couple of years ago when the market was really hot, and got an online inquiry from somebody saying, I want a property in Hawaiian Paradise Park. Can you sell it for me? Went through the process of asking a few questions, went back and forth with this person, and then I handed it off to actually a new agent that lived in the neighborhood because it's on the other side of the island. I said, hey, you want to list this property? And we went through the whole process, and long story short, the deal closes. And then like a month later, I get a call from, and John Smith was the guy's name, saying, did you sell my property? And I says, yes, we did. And he says, well, that wasn't me. And it triggered the whole process of having to go back to escrow and title and review the whole process. But it was pretty impressive. After this thing was all said and done, the escrow company sent me the passport that this guy had gone into the embassy in the UK and signed all the documents. Because if you're out of country, you have to go into an embassy to get documents notarized in order to transfer property. And so they went through the entire process. I mean, they had a fraudulent passport, and the guy actually looked like the other guy. I mean, he was like a bald-headed white guy, and I mean, in a passport photo, it was like you could, if you weren't examining it closely, I mean, it's like, hey,
they all look the same to me. Bald-headed white guys, they all look the same.
But yeah, so I mean, they took this thing all the way through where we actually closed, and then we had to reverse everything, and title insurance gets involved. They refund the buyer their money. This is why title insurance is very important. If you're watching, some people, it's rare, but some people think, well, I shouldn't spend the money on title insurance. It's a waste of money. It's important. It's a very small amount of money for a real estate transaction, and it protects you when these types of things happen. So that was my firsthand experience. And then I had a client, one of my very, very many repeat client, many times repeat client, that had a property in California, and it was fraudulently sold. He I think he found out because his neighbor was like, hey, what happened to that piece of machinery you had on the property? And he's like, what? And somebody moved the piece of machinery off of his property. And he ended up looking into it, and somebody had gone through the whole process of representing him, like fraudulently representing him, and then transferring the property to someone else. So yeah, it's definitely happening. It's rare, but it's something to be aware of. And then I do know, one of the things you can do to protect yourself is, I'm not sure about all of the title companies, but I definitely know First American Title has a alert system where if anything happens, like a lien is put on your property, an update to your title is made, anything like that, property's transferred, you will get alerted to it. So at least you can catch it, because God forbid years go by before you find out if you're in one of these situations where you're an absentee owner. But yeah, it's a real thing. It's out there, and these guys are getting good at it. And I mean, the situation I was involved in Hilo, I mean, they made off with $100,000. I mean, that money was wired off and it was gone. I mean,
Wow.
it was wired to some like bank in Vietnam or something like that.
Holy moly, man!
And the title companies do a relatively thorough job of verifying identity and verifying documents and getting things notarized. I mean, you have to go through it. It's not easy to get it done. You got to be pretty sophisticated, but you can definitely get it done if you're a bad guy. So
wow. Hey, before we hit up to Ashley, I wanted to give a shout out to Pam. Pam is joining us. Hey, here visit with my daughter. Saw the Santa Fun. Awesome. Yeah, I have so many fond memories with my girls, especially when they were little, going down to see the Shaka Santa. Ashley, do you have anything you want to add on to this topic of title theft or this whole thing that we've been talking about? Anything you want to share experience wise or advice wise?
Yeah, I think some of the cases on Oahu were that they targeted deceased owners, and they forged the deceased signature and forged the notary itself, the notary signature, and then they went and recorded a quitclaim deed with the Bureau of Conveyance, and then turned around and sold the property to unsuspecting buyers as the new buyer. So lots of, as you can see, we have several examples of ways that you can commit fraud. And it is important to verify, the buyers and sellers. And sometimes it does get very challenging because you wouldn't think that you need to verify when the title matches the owner that you're talking to. In this case, they recorded a quitclaim deed fraudulently. So it's quite a few steps, but a good title company goes a long way. And the caveat to that, and I'll just end with, it's important to use a reputable large title company. So not all title companies are going to be here forever. We definitely have smaller boutique title companies in the state versus large national brands. So the larger the national brands that you use, the deeper the pockets that they have to not go bankrupt should there be a title fraud claim in the future. So when your realtors are recommending title companies, you often don't know what that means. And you say, yeah, sure, whatever you think. So those title companies are important. And not all realtors understand that either.
So the moral of the story is, one of the most, it's going to be 6 years now that I've been doing the show here. And one of the most recurring themes always is you really got to pick your realtor seriously. You got to pick an experience, don't necessarily take the one that your mother's brother's father's sister's cousin has referred you to. They may be good, but you got to do your due diligence. You really want to have someone with a lot of experience.
And here's one more little, I don't want to call it red
public
flag,
service announcement.
This is something that you need to be aware of. Is there are real estate companies that have ownership interests in title companies, and so there is a financial benefit to referring business to a specific title company. And when that's the case, when you sign documents with that real estate brokerage, you have to sign in, usually it's called an affiliated business arrangement disclosure, where they're saying they're disclosing their ownership in this company. And so that keeps everything above board and it's legal, it's absolutely legal. But to Ashley's point, if it's a small boutique title company owned by the real estate brokerage you're working with, that's not necessarily what's in your best interest. And I've over the years encountered many people who had a title issue, and they were they did the transaction 15 years ago, and it was with XYZ Hawaii title company, and then they're no longer in business, and then to try and invoke that title insurance policy gets very difficult. And so definitely this is intricate stuff, but it's very, 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 very important, and the implications are huge if you end up having to use your title insurance.
Well, look, the moral of the story here obviously is, number one, make sure you're picking a really experienced realtor when you're going to be doing that. But number two, also make sure that you've got a good title company. Now, let me ask you this really quick to close this. We spent a little bit too much time, but I think it's Dylan. Tell your video guys to clip this and make this a video stand. I think it's a good standalone video on its own, because there's a lot of people that I have not seen. I mean, I don't do a lot of searches. This topic about Hawaii specific. I guess the other thing is, okay, what about if you're not looking to buy here? Me, I'm a homeowner, 30 years, whatever. Okay, we went through, I believe, a reputable title company when we bought the home 30 years ago. What could we just go back to our title company and ask them if they've got some additional services, or how do we protect ourselves from not being? Because a lot of people look like me. Some crazy guy from Greece could come in off the passport and put himself on the title and sell my house or whatever. But what would you recommend? Is there anything real? Because there's a lot of I hear a lot of services on the radio. Oh, sign up with this. You'll protect yourself. Blah blah blah. Practically speaking, is there anything that you could or should do, or does it really matter? It only matters when you buy or sell. What would you recommend, if anything, to someone like me?
So a simple thing you can do is, if you have a relationship with a realtor, which you may not from 30 years ago, but if you had a friend or whatever, one of the services.
I got a couple of friends in the business. Yeah, I got a couple of friends. Yeah.
One of the services we can provide, or benefits that you can provide, is title companies will do complimentary title reports for realtors, with the expectation that when we list that property, we use that title company to process that transaction. And so it doesn't hurt once a year to just ask your favorite realtor to pull a title report on your house and see what's on it, because that will tell you if there's anything weird going on, or if there's been a new lien. Because we run into this all the time, where I meet with you, Peter, you want to sell your house, and I go and pull a title report to review that, and I find out that there's a lien on your property from 15 years ago that you never knew about, that a contractor put on that did a renovation or something, or whatever. It could be fraudulent. It could be all kinds of different things. We run into child support a lot of times. Couples will get divorced, 10 years will go by, one or the other will sell the property, and there'll be some kind of child support lien on the property, which causes complications. And so, yeah, reviewing your title report regularly. I think it's a few $100 if you wanted to just pay for one. You could call any of the big title companies and ask them for a title report, but it's something that if a realtor has a good relationship and does business with a title company, we can get that complimentary for you.
Okay. So it kind of makes sense to me that, if you were the paranoid type, and I don't know if that's me, but if I was, you might want to subscribe to one of those services that does the equivalent of like a credit report, where they track your title, and if anything goes on it or comes off of it, you'll get alerted if you were paranoid about those things. Otherwise, maybe every couple of years to run a quick title report, depending on how much those services cost. All right, next slide, please. We beat this one up enough, I think, but I think it's a good topic. It's a topic that that doesn't get a whole lot of coverage. Let's go to the market update. Let's figure out what's going on. What's happening? We're going to start with the Big Island market update. Dylan, why don't you give us the update? What's happening on the Big Island?
Yeah, so I got two slides for you.
Okay,
yeah,
we got a slide.
Jump to the next one. So I just picked some year-to-date numbers to focus in on, and I always try and find something interesting, but the broken record has been, right? It's like a flat year. There's not much going on. It's pretty boring. And this is the tail of the tape right here. Is in 2025, we've had 1,844 single family homes sell. In 2024, there was 1,848. So I mean, it's like almost identical. Through November. But then also the next slide has more detail on this. But we're pretty flat on appreciation also. But what's interesting is that, actually go back one. If you actually, this slide does it too. But if you look, appreciation is not, when you talk about averages, right? That's an average of the whole thing versus if you look really market specific. I mean, if you look at this, North Hilo has had 24% appreciation.
Wow.
South Hilo has had 10% appreciation. Hamakua has had -6%. North Kona is totally flat at 0. So, when you talk about, well, what's the market doing? And, our price is up or price is down, and I tell you it's 0, I'm actually not telling you a real number, right? Because it's an average of everything. Unless you live in North Kona, that number is not accurate. If you live in North Hilo, it's a totally different story. And the next slide, we don't need to go through the next slide. It's just a bunch of data, but that one really breaks down all of the different districts on the island and
every district.
Yeah, what the difference of closed sales are last year to this year, what the percentage changes. Because if you look at this, like North Kona has had 10% fewer sales versus last year, but North Kohala has had 14% more sales this year versus last year. And so it's very variable based on your location. So I think the takeaway from this, the short story is if you really want a detailed idea of what's going on in the market and where you're looking to buy or where you're looking to sell, you got to talk to somebody and pull the actual specific data from that market.
It's kind of, as you were saying this, it's kind of like saying like the stock market is up or down or the same, but wait a minute, Nvidia is up a lot and XYZ is down, and so it really matters. It's a really good good insight. Ronnie, is there anything you want to share about the Kauai market? I don't know if I don't think you brought slides, but that's fine. Is there anything that you want to share on what's happening on Kauai?
He's making the live update. Hit the refresh.
Is he making a live update? Is it live? Okay. Well, here, why don't you start talking and I'll refresh the slides while you're talking, while you wait. Go ahead.
Well, I think that I'm looking at the numbers here. It really depends on the area of the island. I would say that a trend that has continued for most of the year is that there are a consistent number of high-end homes that sell. If you look down, you had my slide there for a second.
Yeah, I sure did. But Ronnie, man, I don't know about you. I'm an old man. I can't read. This is like way the hell too many numbers. But anyway, go ahead. Just give us one to zero in on.
Okay.
Jesus, wow. What the? My eyes are crossed already.
Dylan, go get the market at a glance stat. I think Peter would like.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry, Ronnie. I'm just kidding around. But what number should we focus in on here, Ronnie?
Well, if you look at the Honolulu district, you can see that there weren't that many sales, compared to the prior month, and that's mostly driven by sales in Princeville. And on the flip side, if you look at the Kaloa area, you had like 17 sales of residential properties. That's it's Poipu, it's Kalaheo, it's Lauai, and 17 single family homes versus 6 a year ago. And look at the dollar volume. Do the math there. 17 in the 51 million. An average price point of like $3 million. So in our luxury subdivisions, it's kind of business as usual. Things like our interest rate, don't really affect that class of buyer. And I think we're still in a situation, unfortunately, and you'll see when you get to my deal, because I used the same deal as the last show because it's a crazy deal. There still isn't a lot of affordable inventory. And, I don't, when we talk to people and they, people have their crystal balls, I think I'll wait till this time. I think I'll wait till that time. You can't time the market, just like trying to time the stock market. The best you can do if you want to buy property in the islands is when you see an opportunity and it meets your needs, then, as we've probably said 1,000 times on this show, you marry the house and you date the rate. And so that's kind of the way.
Wait, I've heard of that one. You marry the house and you date the rate.
Yeah, because the rate might go down and then you can refinance. So the rate is a temporary thing. And, if you're a seller, you got to be in the mindset that says, well, I'm looking at these 6 condos, in my condo complex. If I put my mind have the mindset of the buyer, when I go look at them and compare them, which one has the best value? Because if I want to sell, that's where I need to be. I like to say, we don't make the market, we just interpret the market for you and, give you our best advice to help you reach your goals. A lot of times people, they lose track, of what they want to do. It reminds me, and I'll talk about our deal, which is on a bidding platform. And, we just released it yesterday and we get all these agents that call and they're like, well, my client doesn't want to be in a bidding war. Okay, well, bidding platform's definitely not for you. That's what it's about.
I'll be curious about how that turns out. On is this a common theme? A common theme to put properties on a bidding platform, like an eBay? It's not eBay. So what's it called anyway? What's this bidding platform called?
Go ahead, Dylan.
Okay. Yeah. So this is something that's kind of innovative that we're doing. Is there's this platform called USA Home Bids, and it's just a bidding platform. So it's not an auction, but it's a bidding platform that allows you to market property, and then it's an open bid, so you can see what the highest bid is in the property, like eBay, and you can wait to the end and then bid it up and give you the best price. And the reason, think about the real estate market is that it's always shifting. There's always different things happening. There's different needs based on what's going on. And this was something that I just felt like, given the market today and how slow it is and how hard it is to sell listings, why not do something a little bit different? And I think we've talked about this before, right, Peter? Like, why do we even set a list price? Doesn't make any sense. Like, every house should go on the market for 0 and then just wait 2 weeks, and whoever gives you the best offer is the one you can take it. If nobody gives you a good offer, then you can just leave it on until somebody gives you a good offer. I mean, like, the list price is kind of irrelevant. It's really based upon, what a buyer is willing to pay, which is different than a really hot seller's market where you could set a list price and everybody knows they got to come in above it or you're not going to take their offer, right? So depending on what the market is doing, this bidding platform has been really beneficial. If you're a seller and your priority, right, again, this is based on needs of the client. If you're a seller and your priority is to get the property sold quickly, we can guarantee you'll get an offer in 2 weeks. And you can't do that in a normal process. You have to do something different in order to do that. You may not like the offer. You don't have to accept it. You can negotiate it at the end of the bidding time frame. But if you guaranteed want to get serious offers within a couple of weeks, we can make that happen. And this is one platform that you can use. So
that's cool, man.
Just to piggyback on that. So we don't use the word auction. I mean, you can use the word auction. People are familiar with that. But that sort of implies if I'm the highest bidder, I get it. This is a bidding platform. and it's a no-lose situation for the seller. If the highest bid is not something the seller wants, then the seller doesn't sell it, and we go back on the open market and continue to look for better offers. So it's really, you can imagine, I got calls yesterday. We released it at 9:00. I got calls from Florida, from Indianapolis, from France. Sure. I was getting ready to start a Rotary meeting. This guy's calling me from France. Like, okay. And I mean, in a way, I can see already that most buyers and most agents, it takes some time to understand how this process works and educate the people. So we put together tons of collateral. In fact, when you get to my slide, there's a QR code. You can stop the video, scan the QR code, and get all the information you could possibly want about this property. But at the end of the day, it's going to sell for what it's worth, and the market will tell us what that is.
Well, I think that's the real question, right? Do you, as a seller, are you prepared for the reality of facing the reality that whatever it is that you're selling is going to be sold for what it's worth, as opposed to what you'd like it to be worth, right? That's the difference. I sold the Porsche. I had a fantasy of what I wanted to be worth. The reality was worth a lot less than that, and I had to swallow that and enjoy it as I decided to move on. So speaking of moving on, let's move on. Ashley, give us the update. How's the Oahu market going? And let's get your Oahu market update going. Ashley, give us the update. What's happening? You may be muted.
So glad that mic worked. I didn't know which button meant that the mic was off. If it was blinking or not.
Working good.
Okay, so I'm going to next show because I really like that broken down on parts of the island. Oahu's so big. We have not physically we're the third smallest, but just with markets and submarkets so big. There's so many micro markets here, but we do have a few standalones, and I want to do that where when we say if our market's hot or flat or not, right. Like specifically Kailua on the east side of Oahu, it's always been sort of a market driver to give you a clear understanding of where the market is heading and if it's strong or not. But I mean, it's not the highest end price point. And, we have other markets like the west side that tend to suffer a little bit, or is more volatile rather, and suffer the market trajectories more aggressively. So I would love to do that, but I don't have it for you today. So go ahead to the next slide. And I just have my basic 2025 to 2024. And I like to do pre-COVID. So
is this, now this one says November 1 through 30th. Is there a new one that I should refresh? Or is this the one?
No, I wanted to do all of November. Yeah, this is December 5th, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
So
yes, it
when
is.
I'm having a new month,
December 5th. Sorry.
I was like, we aren't even halfway through the month. So I want to do a full month.
No, sorry. My bad. My bad.
I have this like allergy happening, so I'm working at 10% brain capacity right now.
Don't say anything. No one would have known that. No, never share the back room. Never talk about the back room details. No one would have ever guessed in a million years. You're great. You're great as you are. Go for it.
November 2025 for single family homes. I like to look, so the upper portion is the single family homes, the lower portion is the condo townhouses. So if we look at how many active listings there are, it's 175 single family homes versus condos, which are obviously significant more because we have a lot more condos than single family units. And then the median sales price is really flat. I'm going to call a less than 1% difference pretty flat from the year before. So that 0.9% difference is from last year. But look at the increase from pre-COVID market of 792,000. For the closed sales, we are up 10% for single family homes. That's pretty significant considering how the talk of the streets is like sort of a pseudo flat market. We are not
now the plus 10% is 10% over the November 2019.
Yeah, all of the percentages are from the year. So
origin of 2019.
Yeah, no, the 10% is from 2024.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay,
sorry,
okay.
1 year prior. The negative 31% is from 2019.
2019. Got it. Okay, thank you.
So we're 10% higher of closed sales, not the price point, but the closed sales, a number
Yep.
of them from the year before, which just goes to show we're not only seeing prices stabilize and or go up, we're seeing the amount of sales go up as well. So across the nation, sort of the news that I hear is that prices are up, but sales are down. So on Oahu specifically, we see sales up for single families mostly. Days on market really are very similar to last year and similar to pre-COVID. For condos, though, we do see that median sales price going down. So now under 500,000 for the median price point. But if you recall a couple shows ago, we actually saw the median prices up. So in September, we had, again, very similar to 2024 and significantly still higher than 2019 pre-COVID market, but the amount of closed sales is less. The amount of closed sales is also significantly less than the pre-COVID market as well. So you can see we're like 23% less from pre-COVID markets. I just like to compare that. I always find it really interesting to see where the prices are headed from last year, but really pre-COVID boom, because it was such an anomaly. I feel like I will reference that for years to come.
I think so. So just so I can read this right. So for example, if you look at the November 2024 single family home median sales price, which is at $1,099,000, it's plus 38%. That's plus 38% over 2019, not over
Correct.
November 2023. It's over 2019. But
Yep.
the 1.1 is over the previous. Okay, got it. Okay, great. So what's the headline, Ashley? What's the headline of if give me the Ashley, I'm gonna ask you, give me the one-liner. Here we go, Ashley. Give me the one-liner.
One-liners, Peter.
You gotta do the one-liner, girl. You gotta give me the one, you gotta do the headline. This is the Computer Minute Guy talking. I don't know if you remember that at all, but this is the Computer Minute Guy talking. I used to break down super complex topics into 30 seconds. It was actually the computer 30 seconds. But anyway, but that's beside the point. One-liner. Give me the one-liner, Ashley. What's the market like on Oahu?
Oahu market is stable, it's strong, and I feel next year it's going to be even stronger. I think if the
Stable,
rates
strong, and stronger
variables,
next year. All right.
we're going to see a
Stable,
stronger market.
strong, and stronger next year. Okay. One-liner. Dylan, what's the one-liner? Ronnie, I'm giving you the chance here to gather your thoughts together for the one-liner, so get ready. Dylan, what's the one-liner for the Big Island?
We can only go up from here.
The only way is up. I love that. That's excellent. That's terrific. Hey, that's great news if you're a buyer. That's great news. That's music to my ears, man. That's the direction I want. Ronnie, what's the one-liner? What
if you're an entry level or first time home buyer, get it while you can. And if you're an affluent person, find the right property, take your time, and you got a lot of leverage.
Excellent. All right, great. Thanks. Great one-liners, folks. Really appreciate that. All right, let's move on. Next slide, please. All right. So it's the Ask Us Anything time. So if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask, if you're here with us, give us a little bit of a shout out first. Say hello and pop your question. If you've got something, you've got like some really, really smart people here that have been here forever, including those who get like cool notification sounds on their phones. Make sure you give us your question. I got a good one that actually came up. I mentioned to you folks out of the news story that I saw. Really sad, about that lifeguard got bit by a shark and that Navy guy who died. So the question I pulled together that I'd like us to kind of talk about is like, what's your best water safety tip? What would you tell? Let's focus on. Locals are supposed to know what's going on in the water, even though they're not exempt. They still get hurt, like the lifeguard that got bit.
I got it for you.
All right, good. So what's your best? And let's the audience would be, someone who's coming from the mainland for a vacation or just moved here or whatever. They're not really familiar. They're still blown away by how beautiful everything is, and they're looking at the water. What do they want to do? Ronnie's out of the gate. Ronnie, what's your water safety tip?
When in doubt, don't go out.
Yeah, but you know what, Ronnie? People are not in doubt. They think it's fun. They you go up to say, look, you go up to, here's a great example, right? One of my favorites. On Oahu, Sandy Beach, one of the most beautiful, iconic beaches, right? You drive up the Sandies, you could just practically, it's like a drive up, it's like a drive-through movie theater, a drive-up movie theater, right? Drive-in movie. You drive up there, you're on the beach, it's beautiful, and you see little kids, you see 5-year-olds. You see 5-year-olds in the water, and they're, laughing, and they're all like, la la, and having a good old time. I got no doubt. If a 5-year-old can do it, I can do it, right? So give that some thought. Give some thought. Dylan, what's your water safety tip?
So I agree with both of you. I was, that was the first thing that came to mind, but then I totally agree with you also, Peter, that people have no frame of reference to doubt their abilities when you don't know any better. And the analogy I use with this is I've learned this through snowboarding. I'm going to be going to Tahoe in a couple of weeks with my boys, and they have no doubt that they can ski down any mountain that there is because they're teenagers. I have many doubts about my capabilities to ski down a mountain. And so I always am the cautious one saying, hey, let's avoid that black diamond, or let's do this one first, or let's check it out, and so I've kind of learned my cautiousness in the snowing world just from knowing the water world. And I think a lot of times, if you grew up in a city and you've never encountered the dangers of nature before, it's very easy to just jump in the water. And I've probably on my two hands have counted how many times I've I want to say saved, but I've prevented somebody from being in a very bad situation where we're out surfing or we're in the water and somebody that shouldn't be there is there and then gets into a bad situation and either doesn't have the cardiovascular capability to keep up, or they get stuck in the riptide and they're heading towards the rocks. I mean, I've drug many of people out, into safety and then brought them back in. And anybody who spent a lot of time in the water here has done that. So and you just wonder to yourself, like, what in the world made you think it would be a good idea to go buy a boogie board from Costco and then come paddle out here when there's 5-foot waves and you have no idea, you can barely swim. I'm like, what in the world? I mean, clearly you have no common sense, but whatever. I mean, it happens all the time. So.
No common sense. Okay. Ronnie's got his hand raised. Go ahead, Ronnie.
No, I put a link. It is a really, really serious subject.
Totally.
I joined the Rotary Club of Kapa'a in 2006, and in 2005 we put kiosks in the airport. They didn't work very much. They were at the Aloha Airlines, if you can remember that terminal, about water safety. Then in 2013 we installed monitors, in concert with the Kauai Lifeguard Association, to talk about the dangers of the water and to promote this thing that the Honolulu Bay Club started called rescue tubes. And you can find rescue tubes all over Kauai, over 250. If you see someone that's struggling, you go out with this like foam-based tube and you help pull them in. All the lifeguards know how to use it. And I put that link in your chat earlier in the show because the Rescue Tube Foundation just got a grant from the state for $250,000, and we'll have 1,000 rescue tubes around the island. So I think Kauai leads the charge, but I'm not sure. But, we have more drowning deaths in this state. And I've seen a lot of groups, including the groups I work with, do their best to educate people. And you were right, Peter. People don't know what they don't know. And they read cool places to go. They don't necessarily give them the proper warnings.
That's right.
And it's a constant it's a constant struggle. It really, really is. And if anybody's watching this show, take us seriously. When in doubt, don't go out. That's how I think.
I mean, to this day, of the many hours, hundreds of hours I spend in the water in big surf, I've trained my kids that the first thing you do when you get to the beach is you sit there for 15 minutes and you watch it. Like, even though you've gone out 100 times, like, you watch what's going on and you see if there's any weird stuff happening. Check the tide. I mean, check the cadence of the sets. I mean, there's all kinds of things, like, no matter how and then so that's why if you're like, from Wisconsin and you think you're just gonna go jump in the water and it's gonna be cool, like, you're rolling the dice, man.
Yeah, you are rolling. That is. Well, that you preempted my tip, but I want to hear from Ashley. Ashley was a North Shore girl for years, so you're out and you saw it. And I've got some incredible horror stories of the North Shore surf. Ashley, what's your tip? You've got some good experience there. You've been in the home of big dangerous surf. What's your tip for the visitors or people who are not not gone in the water as often as the locals have?
Well, that was going to be my number one tip. First and foremost, you sit and you look at the water. So you have to gauge and you have to have an eye of the landscape. Even if it looks unbecoming, you can have sort of flat looking waves, but just shore break, like Sandy's. Sandy's is a place where you don't see tons of massive waves rolling in, but you do see them curl up onto the sand. In those cases, you swim out past the wave so that the wave can't curl you up and over. They call Sandy's breakneck beach, for example, because it just lifts you up and breaks the neck. So you look for rip currents. So rip currents is where you can see whitewash in specific areas, and then you'll see a spot that looks like it's going into a different direction. So if you get caught in that, it'll suck you out. And you don't swim and fight against it. It's really important to just stay calm and swim parallel to the beach. So not fight and swim straight out to the beach, but just swim parallel to the beach, slow and steady, or go on your back and just wade the water. And then eventually you'll get out of the rip current. Even if you get pushed out fairly decent, it won't pull you under. It'll pull you out until you make your way back. But if you're coming towards rocks, then you have to go, obviously, you have to fight to swim away from rocks. And then my last tip for just surfing, or if you're going out and you're in the waves, is they come in sets, like you said, right? So just know that there's going to be a break in those sets, and don't fight it while they're there. Just stay under them, go under waves, and then wait for your set. And so you can swim out or away. And when you have sets, usually there's a break away from the sets where they are calmer waters.
Those are hot tips, but I'll tell you something, Ashley, if someone was in the water, they are not going to be remembering that, man. You're just freaking, if you're in the water for the first time and you're getting pulled away by a rip current and being beat up by surf, you're not thinking, okay, let's swim parallel. Let's wait for the set.
Okay. So then a good tip is let somebody know you're in the water. So if you're not familiar with water, go by some place that has lifeguards, make sure that someone knows that you're in the water, have a partner at hand. Yep. Don't go alone. And if you aren't in the mindset or basic swimming skills enough to go parallel, or don't freak out, go on your back, at least go to somebody who has some binoculars, can get out to you.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Look, I actually put together a 4-series video on water safety on the Living in Hawaii YouTube channel. But I would say this, here's a simple one that, and I just thought about this now, that every single visitor can follow no matter what. It's super simple. It's the easiest thing. You'll get expert advice. A, only go to beaches that have lifeguards. B, go talk to the lifeguard first. That's it. Go talk to the lifeguard. That's it. Say, hey, I'm thinking about going in the water. What do you think? That's it. Because those guys know it. They know the water. They know what's going on. They're going to ask you about your skill level, all kinds of stuff. Just go see the lifeguard first. And that's that. Just do that, because you could die otherwise. You know what? We need to move on. We need to move on to some diamonds and deals over here, because I'm dying to hear about this property. We've seen it before, but I'm dying. Ronnie's been like teasing us about his property over here, so I am dying to kind of see what he's got about it. So, is this? Let's see. You guys are gonna have to help me here, because I don't know who's got what. So this one here, this 5-bed, 2-bath, is this whose property? Is this yours, Dylan?
That's me. I'll go fast. This is just super, super cool, right? So this was the Union Mill Plantation Manager's estate in Hawaii on the Big Island. So all the way north. This thing was built in 1886, you guys. Like, talk about this, like a historic building. It's on the registry. So it's what's the right word? Like,
incredible.
Kind of functionally outdated, right? So like the bedrooms are kind of small and stuff, but the kitchen is updated, and it's been very well maintained. But just a super cool estate. I mean, a piece of living history, and stuff like this rarely comes on the market. My brother's got it listed up in Hawaii, but yeah, 1.3 acres, 2.2 million, massive house, and just super, super cool. So,
man, and I mean, everything's relative, but it doesn't strike me as like crazy expensive. 2.2 for a 5-bedroom, 3-bath on 1.3 acres, and a historic. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. That property's been sort of refined for well over 100 years, probably, or close to 100.
Yeah. I mean, definitely like one of the the oldest kind of like functional structures on the island. I mean, there's not that many things that are like older than 100 years on the island. That was this big. So you got to think about in the late 1800s. I mean, this was like a castle.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. And well, apparently Keep America Strong 280 thinks so. Hey, from South Carolina Coast. Very nice. Very nice listings there. Yeah. Hold on. But wait, there's more. There's more. We have more listings. So hang on. So this is yours, Ashley. What are we looking at here?
Well, I thought this was going to be a nice little diamond. These photos are very professional from my cell phone. And normally I do all professional photography, but we aren't even live yet on this. This is a coming soon listing, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom for $539. And it's in Mililani, almost on the way to Oahu. So it's right next to Schofield Military Base. It's between town and the North Shore almost perfectly. It has 2 parking. This is a really good price for a 3-bedroom on Oahu that has 2 parking, 2 bathrooms, no stairs, but you're upstairs like in a treehouse. So in your windows, it looks like you are looking out into just the treetops, but you have absolutely no stairs, not even one getting into it.
And you have 2 stalls.
And you have 2 stalls. But in fact, the market is so aggressive still here on Oahu. We're already on contract. We just went under contract today, and it's not even live.
Wow. It's not even live. Well, there you go. That's what you see. Ashley, you maybe should have put that on the bidding platform, not the auction site, but the bidding platform. Anyway,
that bidding platform does cost its owners 0.5%, which is a steal of a deal, or the buyer's agent buyers pay that, and it's well worth it. I've used that bidding platform before. It's usahomebids.com. You should definitely go to it. It is a great platform.
Cool.
Ashley is way too busy to put her properties on that platform.
You get a lot of calls because the properties are priced at 30% value on average, and the amount of calls and emails is unimaginable, Ron. I just know how busy you are at this moment. No wonder
I would think
like crazy.
Yeah, look, I would think if you're going to put, I would think if that platform doesn't, what's it called, USA Bids? What's it called again?
Home Bids. USA Home
Bids. So I would think that USA Home Bids, you've got to, if you do that, you better have a boatload of info on that property online, because you're going to get like a zillion, pardon my French, you're going to get a zillion idiots who are just trying to kick tires and waste your time. And all you want to be able to do is say, here, it's all on the website. It's read it first. But hell, do what you got to do. All right. Oh, there's the famous QR code we've been waiting for. We're going to leave that QR code there. Ronnie, tell us about this property, Ronnie. This is a deal.
Well, the platform encourages us to never price it higher than 50% of its value. And, the founder has this example of pricing something at 25%. He listed something for $549. It sold for over $2 million. So it's really, our job from the marketing side is to put the property in front of as many eyes as possible. This is in a subdivision that's 10 minutes from the beaches in Poipu. It's in Kauai next to Kauai. And there was a house down the street that looked about like this house that sold 6 months ago for $650 in this fixer-upper condition. And it just went under contract, remodeled for $1.15 million. So, this is a great opportunity for an investor. And for me, and my wife has, been sharing this with me, this would be a great opportunity for a local family, because it gets them into kind of affordable housing, and with their sweat equity, over time they can turn it into a diamond. So the challenge for that kind of buyer is when a house is in really bad shape, a lot of the lending options aren't available, but there probably are some, and that's it. If you, with Dylan's mentoring, if you go to that QR code, you'll see a property portal with more information that you could possibly fathom about this property and about this process.
I love this. And not to interject real quick, Peter, but there is great loan options, Ronnie. This is, if you need any lenders that can lend on this for you guys with buyers that you have and they want to do financing, I can send you some good lender options. And they're not just hard money or bridge loans or high interest, like rehab loans that actually know how to do a rehab loan, a 203K rehab loan with 3% down, and they'll give you the money to do the renovation as well.
I'm familiar with the 203K. That's really the only option I know that's available.
But
you
not
can
all
send
the
me-
lenders do it here. It's hard to find a lender that'll do it in Hawaii and who's familiar with it and can close it in 30 days. They're available, like we all know about it, but the lenders doing it is the challenge.
Okay, send it on.
Do you have one?
I
was just able to pull up this so this is the USA Home Bids listing it. Yeah, it's currently bid at 300K. So there you go. I mean, I don't know if that's like the starting bid or your guys' bid or whatever it is, but hey, here we go. Cool. Good luck.
Scroll up. Look at those floors. We pulled up the funky carpet and got rid of the smell. All you need to do is come in and put your floor in.
Ronnie, don't tell people there was a smell. You're not supposed to say all that. You're not supposed to tell them that there was a terrible smell. Just say, look at those beautifully, like incredibly cultured. Well, I'm not telling you how you do your business. I'm not a realtor. So
That's
yeah, just
good, Peter. No,
don't tell me about the smelly floors.
Thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, never tell people about the insides. Look, I'm never going to tell people, look, I'm suffering from a cold right now and I'm just kind of bearing my way through. And by the way, my ear is bleeding because I had like an infection coming out of my, people don't know that. No one needs to know.
I feel like when I'm with you, like we're just hanging out, in your living room, Peter. And so I forgot where I was. I forgot where.
That's all we're doing, man. We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out, having a good time. It's just us. All right. We're running a little bit late, so let's wrap this up. It's time to close this up with our closing thoughts. And if you've got some closing thoughts you want to share with us, we'd love to hear it, but we're going to roll right into that. And let's see who we got over here. Well, Heidi's not with us, but Ashley is. Ashley, what do you got over here? I like this.
Gratitude turns what we have into enough. In the season of giving and the season of this holiday, I just wanted that reminder that it's not about the gifts or what you can give or what you get, but just having gratitude for what you have.
Gratitude is the best attitude, right? That is time and time again. Most self-help psychologists, blah, blah, blah. Everyone talks about the most important thing that you can have is gratitude. And I completely wholeheartedly agree. Dylan, what's yours?
Yeah, and the theme of going into the new year and planning for next year, learn from your failures faster than you plan. You spend all your time planning and not
expand on that one. Expand on that one.
What it means to me is if you spend all your time planning and you don't actually take any actions and potentially fail, you're never going to learn. So it's better to learn from your failures faster than you plan. Take action, fail, learn, and don't spend all your time planning.
I'm actually a strong believer. I strongly believe in the idea that you only learn when you fail. That's the only time that you learn is when you fail. You got to get your butt kicked. If you don't get your butt kicked, you're not going to learn. In fact, if you kind of can succeed without failing, your head's going to get so big you'll think so much of yourself because you'll believe that you're infallible. At least that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. Let's see. Let's see. Is this?
No, I don't have a slide, but I'll share. That's from last week. And that's
okay.
true.
Just go ahead in here. We're just going to do a full Ronnie face. Just go ahead, Ronnie. I got the best, which is you.
The favorite Henry Ford quote. Yeah. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right.
Excellent. Well said. Well.
That was off the top of his head, and that's a favorite of mine too.
Yeah,
but
right
when you slow down and you speak like you, Ronnie, it sounds more wise than me.
It's the lack of hair.
It's this is the gift. This is the gift that comes with the wisdom of age, right? The older guys have been through this a long time. They've been, Ronnie, I don't know specifically, but I can take a wild guess, and I would guarantee it's true. You've gotten your butt kicked a whole lot of times in life, and you got a whole lot of wisdom. And if I could just show you how to mute your phone during the show,
I was going to say, Ronnie, mute it.
Super happy. I would be incredibly happy to turn off the notifications. I'm going to make a slide just for that. But other than that, God bless you. It's the wisdom of age. I love it.
I
Absolutely
just
love it.
wanted to have a real-time demonstration of usahomebids.com while we're
There
doing
you
this.
go. That's it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's funny.
Now my
Yeah,
phone is silenced. The damn thing is coming through my MacBook. So what can I
see,
tell
that's what you. Oh, actually, that's a
Okay.
good idea. You should have a. You guys should have a. No, I'm going to flip this around and say I was wrong. You should have a ding that goes off when every person sends you an inquiry. Like, and so during the shows, like ding, 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 ding. That would be funny.
And then
You
we
wouldn't
just
be able to
put-
have a
we just
show,
put
Peter.
the YouTube
right?
link quickly.
Right?
We put the YouTube link
The-
into ChatGPT and say how many times did it ding.
That's right. That's right. And then no one's going to watch the show at all. But that's okay. We don't care. It's just because it's just us. It's just us talking. It's just us talking. So it's the show is for us. All right, my turn. Proverbs 9:7. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harms himself. You know what that means? That means don't tell people where they're wrong. No one's going to care. No one's going to listen to you. No one's going to, it ain't going to matter. People don't care for your advice. They don't want to be corrected. Whether they're a scoffer or a wicked, it's going to fall back on you. It's going to fall back on you. The best advice I ever got about how to give advice without ever giving it advice. Here it is. Here's the best way to give advice without, because no one wants. I don't know about you, but I'm too damn stubborn. When someone says, you know what you should do, it's like, don't tell me what I should do. I don't want to know what I should do. Here's the way to do it. You tell a story about what you did and how it helped you, and just tell the story. And that's it. Because people will pull out of that story whatever advice that they want. And they may not pull anything out of it. That's not your problem. Tell your story about what you did. Instead of giving advice like, here's what you should do, here's what I did and here's how it helped me. And that's it. And let the cards fall. All right. I think we've had enough. We're going to see you in 2 weeks. This will be our last show of the year, and it'll be actually my last show on a consistent basis. Dylan's going to be taking over in 2026, which I'm super stoked about. And Dylan, of course, will always be back anytime you want me to. But in that case, we're going to see you in 2 weeks on December 19th. It's going to be our Christmas edition. So bring your Christmas stories. Maybe wear a Christmas shirt if it's appropriate. Let's go clockwise and say goodbye. Dylan, Ronnie, and then Ashley. Say goodbye.
Hello, everybody. Have an awesome weekend.
Peter, I'm bringing you a Christmas song about this show and your everything you've done since you started it.
Oh,
Share
man.
it with you
Can't wait
on the
for
9th.
that. That's a gift. That's a gift. Ashley.
What are you running?
The ding.
Between me over disclosing Ronnie's phone, Peter's losing it.
Ding, there it goes.
Wear your Christmas outfit if it's appropriate. I just got ideas. So we can brainstorm that later.
Only
Have a
if it's
great
appropriate, Ashley. Only if it's appropriate. Only if it's appropriate. Yeah. All right, folks. Love you all. Take care. Have a great one. Have a great 2 weeks. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you all on the 19th. Aloha. Take care, everybody.
Aloha.